So, one of our devotionals that we had for our family devotional was about being betrayed by a friend. And I had a great conversation with our children because I asked them, whether or not they had experienced betrayal on one level or another, and I had to explain what that meant, because you look at the betrayal of Jesus and you may want to compare term for term and be like, oh, I never had nobody like turn me over to the point where I'm about to be killed. But I explained to them, have you ever put your confidence or your trust in someone whom you deem to be a friend, and that person betrayed that confidence or betrayed that trust? Or when it came to your dignity, when it came to your honor, has a person ever betrayed that dignity or betrayed that honor? Have you ever been lied on by a friend? Have you ever had someone give false information? As these things ever happened? Well, maybe it happened once, but it happened twice or happened three times. Or the betrayal of the friendship itself, where you assumed a level of a friendship that the other person did not match in return. And so you felt a sense of a betrayal. So we sat back and we talked about, that betrayal. Consequently, I also, for the first thing ministry that they have at the middle schools, I got an opportunity to speak to the young people there concerning that betrayal. And I just wanted to give them just a piece of my own personal story of I remember a particular betrayal that happened towards me. And this was mass going way back in the time. This is circa 1998, my lord. And in 98, I ended up going to jail. And it was an interesting season of my life to go to jail. I spent 26 hours in the Allen County lockup. And I was telling my children that hurt on levels because one, I'm getting arrested. I don't even know why. I got pulled over for going around a double line with a cop, and I had to go around a bulldozer. He pulled me over. Once he pulled me over, my man ran my information, came back and said, "Young man, do you know you have a bench warrant out for your arrest?" I'm like, "No." Consequently, some stuff I should have been arrested for or had a warrant out, but I did not have one out. So I could see that he did. And so, as God blessed me, even before I gave my life to Christ, because my car was parked in a no parking zone, I asked the cop, "Can you let me move my car?" Do let me move the car. And I went off and moved my car around the corner. I asked him when he got ready to arrest me, I asked him, I was like, "Yo, I have never been in handcuffs before in my life. And I would like to not be a statistic of another young black man that's in handcuffs in the back of a police car. You see my record. You see that there's nothing on my record. Can you please spare me the memory, the very feeling of being handcuffed in the back of your car?" Cop had grace on me. He didn't have to, but that was the grace of God on my life. And he let me get in the back seat, went down, got processed. When I went to the judge said I had a court date like 2 or 3 weeks later, can't remember exactly. But at the time I was working for U-Haul, and I went off and I had to go back to my court date. I asked my cousin, "Hey, would you come with me to my court date, man, just so I can, handle this business and get this over with?" He was like, yeah, no problem. So we show up. We sitting in the courtroom. My case comes up, the state versus Keir Hopkins Smith, right? And I've got this outstanding warrant on my record, and the judge says is the ticketing officer in the room. The ticketing officer was in the room. He goes off. He said, "Yes, I'm here." And the judge says, "Do you see the person in whom you gave a ticket to? Are they in this courtroom?" And the officer says, "Yes, that person is." And the judge says, "Will you please point the person out?" The judge then points at my cousin. Judge is like, whoa, hold on. Let me rewind that back and make sure that this is happening. Is the person whom you ticketed in this room? Officer says yes. Can you point the person out? And the officer pointed to my cousin who was on my left. My blood began to boil. Just begin to boil. And I couldn't believe the betrayal. I couldn't believe it. And judge went off and said, "Well, we have a case of mistaken identity. This is not on Mr. Hopkins Smith, so we're going to take this off his record, But hey, you can't take back the 26 hours I just spent in the ACL, the 3 cages I had to live in and stay in for that 26 hours, and what all my mind and my heart and my everything was going through in that. You can get no type of payback for that, okay? No reciprocity." So after that, I was hot. I ain't say nothing to my cousin until we got out the building. I had to get away from state property because I knew what was on my mind to do. I went and took him back home, and boy, I laid hands suddenly on him. Told him, dude, I can't believe you betrayed me. All you had to do is tell me. All you had to do was just tell me. But what happened? Man goes off and says, my license was suspended and I didn't want to get in more trouble. So I used your information when I got, pulled over. I was like, but all you had to do is just tell me. But you decided not to tell me. So dude betrayed me and it hurt. I threatened him. I was, dude, I don't never want to see you again. I don't ever want to see you again. Not only that, but after that, dude went off and we was working at the same spot together. He ended up stealing $3,000 from the spot we worked at together. Then he also stole a vehicle tow from that spot and then fled. Well, because I was the one who gave my word and vouched for him to be hired there, I came under investigation when they were investigating the whole case. And they deemed me as one who was a possible accomplice in the whole thing, even though they had no evidence. And all of my privileges at my job got stripped away. And within, I think it was like a week or two, I ended up getting fired. Betrayed. And I told the children, and I told my children and the children that I was ministering to, I was like, that was in 98. 2001, I gave my life to Christ. And as God would have it, because this is God, in the next year, I was walking through Target and here comes my cousin right in my face. My flesh, though, it rose up in that moment. Once again, we're talking about circa 22 years ago. Okay. My flesh rose up and my flesh immediately was like, you remember what you promised him? And I was like, I do remember what I promised him. But then my spirit kicked in right after that. And I heard the voice of the Lord say, as I forgave you, so forgive him. And immediately my whole defense was gone. My heart melted. And all I wanted to do was run up on my cousin and love on him. So that's exactly what I did. We crossed each other's paths. We introduced ourselves. I hugged on him. I told him, I forgive you for what you did. I forgive you for the pain it caused me. I forgive you for the trauma. And then God told me to ask him for forgiveness for the things that I did, that I led him into, that I did dirt bad with him. And I did. He said he forgave me. Like, ain't nothing to forgive, cuz. No, for real, it is. Because I did things that led you into stuff that you didn't need to get into. But I did that. And the Lord reconciled that through forgiveness. And so I told him, I said, listen, I understand friends betray. But even in that story, Jesus knew that Judas would betray him even before he called Judas to be his disciple. But you will not find one iota in the entirety of the scriptures where Jesus loved Judas less. Jesus loved him, and he loved him all the way up until the point where Judas hit him with the friendship kiss. And Jesus was like, you betray me, my friend, with a kiss? Do what you are supposed to do. Do what you're here to do. And he still loved on him. He tried to, come back on the other side, remorseful, return the 30 pieces of silver. Didn't work. Got so remorseful that he killed himself. But friends can betray. Family can betray. Been betrayed by family. I've betrayed family. God is still able to heal. God is still able. His forgiveness knows no height and it knows no depth. It knows no width and it knows no thickness. His forgiveness can penetrate every single situation if we allow it to. So I just want to encourage God's people with just this short message. We may be betrayed and we may betray. Can we allow the forgiveness of God to work its wonder in our mind, in our heart, in our situation, in our family, in our ministry, so that others can experience the awesome power of the forgiveness of God when he washes us clean? Be conduits of forgiveness, God's people. Love you. God bless you.